Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather and today is an epic review video. I say epic because this is a two-part video, because as I recorded this video, there was so much goodness that it went a little long, and so I'm going to go ahead and break it up into two parts because we actually have two products that we're reviewing from the same company. Now, both products are very related, and if this is something that is right down your wheelhouse, you're going to want to watch both of them. So this first part is the new Lynker gravity-enabled salt and pepper shakers. You have seen them on my channel for quite some time now. In fact, they're sitting on the counter right over there because I'm recording this intro after I already did that video, because during the editing, we're like, there's so much goodness, we can't break this up. Anyway, you will have known that I am using that almost exclusively to salt and pepper all the things because we absolutely love the design and features. So I'm gonna go over all of that. Well, there's another product right here from Lynker. They sent me another set of salt and pepper shakers, but this guy, you can put all sorts of spices inside. And you guys, I geeked out a little bit, which is why I couldn't cut it out. I love these products and I am so excited to give you not one, but two videos showing you why you may need them in your life. So if you are ready for these reviews, part one, this is the Lynker salt and pepper shakers that are automatic and gravity enabled. Here we go. All right, you guys. So first of all, we're gonna talk about the salt and pepper shaker from Lynker. This style comes in several colors, and I actually feel as though if they would have asked me which color I liked, I probably would have gone for the other color. But as I've started to use this copper one, I absolutely love it. I'm glad that they chose it for me. So these guys are really easy to fill. There's a little clear window right here and it's locked right now. To unlock it, you just twist and open, and then you fill your salt and pepper right in here. Like I mentioned earlier, the directions say these guys are only for salt and pepper. Now, I have been using these for a good month now, and they have easily become our go-to salt and pepper shakers for a few good reasons. Number one, they are gravity enabled. So once it's turned on, you can turn this over and the gravity enables the mechanism that grinds your salt or your pepper for you. It has a grind setting knob, kind of like some of the other grinders that you can find at the grocery store. So there's a really fine setting and there is a really coarse setting. The fine setting, which I'm going to show you in just a second, is literally powder. It is so fine. And the coarse setting is pretty coarse. It's barely anything after this. So the variation between coarse and fine is so great. Like, there's not just set little notches. You can get somewhere in between the two. The other thing that is super cool is their charging base. Their charging base, we have noticed that it needs to be off to charge. When you have it on and you're charging, it doesn't receive its full charge. Now, I will be a little picky for a moment. It does come with the charging cable, but it does not come with a charging block. So it has the USB-C here at the back of it, and then it has a regular USB going into a USB charger like this. So that's a little bit of a bummer, because if you don't have an extra USB charger laying around, then you have to purchase another one. However, almost all of our devices these days has a USB charger. So I feel like maybe that's okay. But if that is something, like if you're getting one of these and you don't realize it doesn't come with a charging block, you will be very upset, because it doesn't indicate that it doesn't come with a charging block. It just says that it is USB chargeable. They do charge rather quickly here on the base. I've left this one off the base for a little while so that you can see what happens when you know that it's charging. Right now, this one is all charged up because there is no light on it. But the moment I set this one down, you'll see that the charging light is on. That is indicating that it is charging and needs to be charged for at least a little while. It's not up to battery power. I only left it off the charger for like 5-10 minutes within the last hour while I was getting ready for this video, so it shouldn't have too much charge missing from it, and it does last a very long time. We've left them on the table and they've stayed there for several days, and we did not need to charge it. So the other thing that it comes with is a nice little brush. And this brush is important. Do not lose this brush. These ones also come with brushes. This brush is important because you'll want to clean the inside of your grinding material kind of often, as often as you think about it, because sometimes it gets stuck in there, and then when you're adjusting your grind setting, it might get stuck on a grind setting that maybe you don't want. For instance, when the salt, we've experienced this, so trust me on this, when you're all the way at the fine setting, the salt will get stuck there, and when you go to do it for coarse, it won't pop up to coarse because it's kind of stuck there. So you use your little brush and unstick it, and then it will pop right off. You can clean this by taking the grinder thing out. Oh, one more thing. In one of my videos that I use this grinder, you guys, I'm sure you saw this thing was flopping and it was very annoying to me. But I didn't say anything because I was like, oh, well, it's that design. No, it doesn't flop. I mean, it does flop if you don't click the lid open. Like, you can click the lid open. It stays open. There is a spot that it clicks into place. I didn't know that. I didn't want to break it off. I was trying to be gentle with it. You don't have to be gentle. It will click into place and then it won't move. That's going to be a game changer for a lot of us here in this house, because doing this kind of got annoying. Okay, let's go back to the taking out of the grinder part. So right here, to take it out, to clean it really well, you have your little knob, and this part is in the little booklet that they give you. It does show you that these parts come out. So as you can see, these parts come out. There's also a washer in here, which is not in the directions, but the washer is in between this thing and the spring. And then there's also another plastic piece underneath that, which is also not in the instructions. So definitely take a look inside your grinder first before you fill it, so that you know how they go back together once you clean it. The benefit of taking it apart, of course, is to use your brush and really get all down in there and clean all that stuff out. To put it back together again, you just fit everything over that square piece and you screw on the grinder adjuster, and there we go. It's all back together, ready to go. So I want to show you the grind settings on the salt, because that's the thing that kind of sold this whole set for me, along with the pepper, because sometimes you want really big, thick chunks of pepper. Like if you're doing a cracked pepper bread, you want kind of thick chunks of pepper, and sometimes you want it very fine, like you can get it at the grocery store. So that's really fun for the pepper grinder. But the salt grinder, I'm telling you, it's like powder. It's the most fascinating thing ever. And now I will show you the coarse setting. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn it on, and then we're gonna turn over and just put some coarse salt right here. Look at that, nice coarse salt. And I'll save all this for something else. This will not go to waste. So this is the coarse. This is the coarsest one that I feel makes it coarse salt. So like that's something that you would put on top of salted caramel, or something that really needs some crispy, bitey salt. My husband is not a fan of the crispy salt, so he is definitely not a coarse grinder person. So in between each of these grinds, I'm gonna go ahead and use my brush here to just make sure that everything is out. So I'm gonna do about half a turn, and then I'll turn it back on. And so this is the next like level up. And as you can see, it's a little finer, but definitely still pretty coarse, but not as coarse as that one. And then I'm gonna give it another half turn or full turn, probably just a half turn. There we go. And we're gonna do the next one. All right, so as you can see, we are getting much finer. This is very much like table salt. And we're gonna give it a final turn. And this is gonna be that powder, like literally it's powder. I even feel like, even though it's powdery right now, I feel like there is another setting even more powderier than that, because in one of my videos that I use this, oh yep, I can still turn. So yeah, this is not quite the powder, but it is pretty fine. Oh yeah, this is like powdered sugar fine. It is, you can really tell in the top of this grinder. Let me see if I can get a close-up of the top of this grinder. Look inside there. See that powder? That powder is how fine that salt has gotten. That's fine salt. So that being said, this grinder goes from fine to really coarse in just a matter of turns, and it is fantastic. And I wanted to show you the pepper. So we're gonna go for coarse first, and then we'll go for fine so that you can see the difference. Okay, now, as you can see by this white piece of paper, it's pretty coarse. There's definite large pieces, and it's a pretty coarse grind. There's pieces of peppercorn, and if you're not a fan of biting into peppercorn, this is definitely not the setting for you. All right, and once the grinding area is clean, I'm gonna turn it all the way to the finest setting, and we will get finely ground pepper. And this again is like powder. Look at how fine that is. That is so fine. So needless to say, all of that to say, this is the salt and pepper grinder for everyone. You can go from very, very fine to very, very coarse very, very quickly. Now, one of the things we did notice that when we're going from, fine to ground, sometimes the little spring-loaded thing gets stuck. So I'm gonna twist it in there for a second, leave it, and then I'm gonna try to go to coarse. It did not pop up for the coarse setting. And that had me almost like, that's a bummer. That's a thing that I have to say is wrong with this. And yes, that is a function. The spring doesn't actually push hard enough upwards to be able to release that, but there's an easy solution. Make sure your grinder is on off. Shut your lid, open your door here, take your the other side of your thing, and you can actually push on the top of that mechanism until it pops. There we go. Did you hear that pop? Just a little push, just nudge it out of place, because sometimes those spices get stuck in the little grinding thing and don't let it release. So then let me show you. Now you can see that little black shadow. That means that the grinder is now adjusted to the coarsest setting, or the coarse setting that I wanted, and now it's ready for the next person. Now we like a medium grind pepper, so I'll twist it down a little bit, but I figure that tip will help someone. All right, so that is the salt and pepper set, the gravity electric grinder set from Lynker. This is a recommended item for me. I do use it in my kitchen every day. All right, do you see now why I had to leave all of that in? Because it's all so exciting, and I was so excited and I just couldn't stop showing you how amazing they were. So now if you're ready for video 2, it's coming up right after this short break. As I tell you, if you're not a subscriber yet, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Usually I do just videos about food, but I try to give you reviews on things that I think will help you, the home cook, the everyday cook, have a better time in your kitchen and just have it be more pleasant. So this is one of those. But if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and give that subscribe button a little tap. and I would love to see you on the next adventure, which comes up right now. So it's gonna be right after this. Go check that one out. All right, you guys, we'll see you in just a second.